Good day, all, and welcome to another edition of Local Legislator Live at 11. I'm your host, Charles Gates. This is a component of locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local election information in the United States and an advocate for the sustainability of local business nationwide. Our guest today is the Honorable School Board member from Newport News, Virginia, Mr. Marvin Harris. Hello, Marvin Harris. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Mr. Gates,
It's
and
going
all the listeners and viewers? My pleasure being here today.
fantastic, fantastic. Well, you know what? We call these raw interviews because we do this Monday through Friday from 11 to about
Right.
11:30, and we call it raw because we get right to it. I'm going to start off by asking you our first question. Excuse me. What led you to run for school board, and how long have you served?
What led me to run for school board was something that was a part of me all my life, which means my mother, single parent mother, instilled what I call the service to others. So all of my life I've been in that position of serving other people. And, after doing 22 years of military serving this nation, so I just found it a fit to do that. And also to make an impact on young children. It's no secret that success comes from 0 to 6 or 7 years old. So I figured that, that would be the best impact that I could make or continue to make in serving that capacity. So I ran for a school board in 2016, about school boards 2016, won an election, just had a re-election in 2020, had no opponents, so here I'm again for a second term.
All right. Well, congratulations to you, and thank you for your service, 22 years in the military. Now, speaking of the military, how has that experience helped you in public office?
Wow. For me, it has leadership, understanding people, understanding that leadership comes from leading, not just saying, time management, courses of actions, decision-making process, and understanding the human capital part of it, that no mission, no situation is greater than the human being, the human factor. And just being able to provide leadership to the school board along with my other 6 school board members. So for me, it's just been just leadership and understanding what that looks like and being able to apply that to policy.
Okay. Now, Newport News has chosen to have a virtual start for the first 9 weeks of the school year. Now, what went into that decision, and what options are available to those families who can't afford an internet connection?
Well, I tell you that's a two-part, a great question you asked. No one took the final decision lightly. What we started to do months prior was realize that we wanted to make sure the community was brought along with us. At the same time, understanding that, once a decision was made, everyone was not going to be happy, everyone was not going to be pleased. So we put out a survey a couple of months ago to query parents, teachers, administrators, and just business leaders. What do you want to see if this pandemic doesn't stop and we don't get it under control? So we received those surveys back, and during that point in time, majority of the correspondents wanted to go with a hybrid plan. All right, so after we got that information, we started the preparation for that. What would school look like on a hybrid plan? Do they go 2 days a week and part virtual? But that information was based on where America was in April, May, June timeframe. We put out another survey a couple of weeks ago during the spike of the virus across the United States and across Virginia, and lo and behold, the answers switched the other direction, meaning the majority said, hey, I would rather leave my child at home and be educated at home. So we brought the community along with us. And that was part of making a decision. Also having the superintendent, marshal, his experts together. We also use guidelines from the state, also use guidelines from CDC, and things of that nature. So we didn't make the decision in a vacuum. It was multiple information sources, and things was constantly changing. And so, you know, we had to stay abreast of that. And that's how we ended up making a decision to virtual for the first 9 weeks of the school year. And I think the second question was internet connection service, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Right.
Newport News got ahead of this thing back in March, end of March, or prior to that. The IT department realized that if this thing lasts, people would need Chromebooks, laptops, people would need IT services, more so than ever, because people would be at home. So just because the school division uses IT products, guess what? The neighbor needs a computer also. So what we did, the IT department started ordering Chromebooks ahead of time in March. And it was one of those things because we wanted to have a one-to-one Chromebook for every student, which what we have now. And so the backlog kicked in probably June timeframe, May timeframe across the United States. A lot of people probably didn't realize it, but the place was going short on computers because everybody had to work from home. So that was one of the best decisions I think that I've seen an organization make, and that's how leadership comes about: getting ahead or try to think ahead of the situation, not just in the present. So we have Chromebooks from 1-to-1 from K through 12. All right, we have increased purchase of hotspots across the spectrum of the city to try to cover every parent. Some of the questions we got was, well, I have a high school, I have a senior, I have kids in middle school, and I have kids in elementary. Do I only get one hotspot, right? No, because we understand that when you got 3 people in one home that's on using a hotspot for class, so no, you'll get 2 hotspots. But the school division has really led in that area of ensuring that everyone has hotspots and multiple hotspots in a household. But again, this boils down to communication, two-way communication between the household, parents, guardians, and the principal, school division on what do I need. Because guess what? There are some people that moved away from Newport News in the school division that was in school, and we're gaining people that may have moved into the city. So it's a constant moving target, and it requires positive communication and feedback, not just from the top, okay, but also from the family structure. So we meet somewhere in the middle.
Okay, let me ask you this about the surveys you sent out. Did that
Uh-huh.
go out to every household in the entire city, or how did you choose who gets what?
No, it was online. So in theory, it turned anybody that wanted to take the survey could have took it. So there was no paper surveys actually sent out. So it stayed online for about 2 weeks, and you sent the communications to the households. Hey, take the survey, take the survey. The survey is online. It's posted on all the schools' websites, social media. Take the survey, take the survey. So it was available to the public in general. And of course, when you sign on to take it, then you let people know what field you're in or whatever the case may be, and then they extrapolate the information from there.
Okay, so in other words, if you have one of these, you could have taken the
Yes, you
survey.
could have. Yeah, yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you along those lines, how can you share how the public's thoughts and fears were tended to while making those decisions?
Um, it is a proven fact that in time of crises, uh, not just information is pertinent at that time, but the correct and accurate information. And you have to be able to inform the public, but you also want to inform the public of the right information. And there's always a lag time or a gap in between that because the situation was constantly moving. And asking parents and things of this nature for patience, you know, updates will be coming. We're posting updates. So for me, I mean, it was just reaching out, maintaining communications, and you saw response. Some responses come back. Hey, we understand. You know, just keep bringing in information. And some people needed information on an hourly basis. You know, so you know you can't, and that's where you have to pick a scenario and you go with it. And so you know, the parents could call the principals, could call the school division, they could email or call a school board member. You know, we field the questions constantly, and you know, and we will push that information to the superintendent, get answers back, you know, and try to get back with the constituents in a timely manner. But it was more so pleading for patience, you know, and also just keeping abreast of what is going on, you know, within your area, within the state. So at first it was, I would say, not difficult, because at the same time, you know, we were waiting on guidance from the CDC. The superintendent was in constant contact with the CDC, with the state representative school division. So were we. We was in constant contact with lateral cities, Hampton, Norfolk, and Yorktown, and Williamsburg, you know, trying to make sure that the same message was getting out. So I know from a parent's view, you know, it probably appeared as though information was not coming fast enough. Information was, you know, not coming in a speedy manner for them. But I would just say that, you know, we wanted to make sure you got the accurate information. So hopefully that helped. You know, even though we've made the decision now, but look, you know, hindsight, I think the school division definitely did their best. And this is a personal business, and I call it a personal business. You know, when you're talking about educating or assisting and educating kids that are with you for the majority of the day, you know, you have to, you know, love what you're doing, and you have to understand that, you know, even though my kids are grown and not in school, but you have to look at it as though I am providing a service to this young man, young woman, because one day they could be the ambulance driver. One day they could be the doctor that may have to work on me if I get to an old age. And so that's the type of attitude that you have to bring to this, whether you're a teacher, a principal, administrator, a bus driver, a cook, or even a school board member. The bottom line is that you want to be able to, you know, assist in making sure that we have successful young people that can move this society and city forward.
Okay. All right. If to our listeners, if you like this interview, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our Facebook page. And remember to leave us a comment telling us who or what you would like to hear from in an upcoming episode. Now, Mr. Harris, what options will be available to those kids and parents needing additional support? For example, disabled, learning disabilities, elder, guardians, and tutoring. And this question comes from our listeners. So thank you, listeners, for leaving us a comment. Mr. Harris.
Okay, we know that the children have IEPs, or what we consider some of the most vulnerable.
IEPs, what is that? It's for, you said IEPs earlier?
Yes, and those are the individual plans for students,
Okay.
that have particular needs, that have
Okay.
particular needs to be educated. The school system, has put in place the virtual learning process, but at the same time, understanding that there will have to be some face-to-face instruction for the kids that are least vulnerable, i.e., take for instance social and emotional support. We're doing staff training so that the teachers get training on social and emotional support to provide to kids and family members, being able to identify when a kid needs emotional support. Also, communicating with the family members. That's why this is so important that, members of households is going to have to be prepared to engage teachers more often and principals more often because we're going virtual. And so, at the end of the day, they have put in place, those situations where they can get that if they need one-on-one training, or we've partnered with the city, we've partnered with Parks and Recreation to provide locations if we need those, to also use those locations for additional training and tutoring. So it's been a cross organization mission, to assist in that manner. So a lot of people probably didn't hear about the communication with the city. The city, we've been in constant communication with the city because they know that they're going to have to provide some services that otherwise they wouldn't have had to, such as parks and recreation buildings, boys and girls clubs, using those facilities for after school programs to help if need be. So those are some of the items that we're working on.
Okay. And can you share with us the background of the free lunch program and how will it be implemented during the first 9-week virtual period? Well, your camera went out.
Okay. Yeah. I saw that. Am I still up?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I'm still available. Okay. All right. Well, that program, there's a couple of them, but that program came through the USDA, and basically they had extra funds, and our school division applied for those funds to help ensure that every child ate. And so that's basically what that happened. The department, led in that way and said, hey, there's extra funds for food. Let's go after it. And we won that. But to be honest with you, on the flip side of that, a lot of people thought that we were snatching tax dollars from the localities. When they see the word free, a lot of people lost it. Basically. But not knowing that there was those grants and things of this nature that other federal agencies said, hey, guess what, we have money here, if you want it, come get it. And we did that, and we would do it again. But the way it would work during this time is, for now, and which I think is going to change, but for now, to have it set up that you have instructions Monday, instruction Tuesday, Wednesday, what do you call, individual instruction, where the kid, sort of, learn things on their own during that time period. And so on Wednesdays, it's going to be where the families will come pick up those meals, those 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches, for that week. And I think, and I need to double check this, and I make a note on it. And I think that system was set up because, again, we was going to a hybrid, or thinking about a hybrid plan. And so you had to put that in place. But I think now they're going to break it down. The story they did in the summer. Here's going to be the hot spots to come pick your meals up, or whatever the case may be. And there may be times where we might have to go deliver those meals, to the household. But there's a meal plan in place. and that the parents should have already had that information or update on that information.
Okay. And what do you feel needs to be addressed before live school participation can proceed?
Yeah, that's that's a good one. I think keeping a close eye on you know, the state of Virginia plans, CDC plans, Department of Education. Those three agencies are vital to, you know, our success, and just keeping in line with those organizations and being able to update our citizens on that. Also, being able to ensure that we are in constant contact with family members, and that communication gap is solid, because we don't want to leave not one child behind or miss anything. Yeah, you know, you would hope there was a vaccine. You know, you would hope that you know, somehow, you know, we as a nation, you know, get this thing under control. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, you know, I wish we could get it under control, and not just for us getting school back started or whatever. But also, you know, for parents that need to go back to work, you know, that individuals that, you know, need to get on with their life. So this thing has affected all of us, and it will continue to affect us. And I just pray to God that, you know, we get this thing get this thing under control. But, you know, we just want to make sure our kids are healthy and motivated. And I think kids are ready to get back to school. Kids are ready to get back out around their friends or whatever the case may be. But, you know, we just want to make sure we keep an eye on their social and emotional needs, you know, and make sure they're healthy during this time period, that if we did have to go back to school in 2021 physically, you know, that we're ready and prepared to do so, and not have to deal with other issues that may have came about by being isolated, you know, for a whole school year. So
I would imagine parents can't wait to go back. Parents can't wait for their kids to go back to school either.
yeah, yeah, I've heard that a lot. And to be honest with you, I've also, you know, got a lot of emails saying, you know, some parents saying, you know, I didn't know who my kid was, you know, this, you know, totally different person, you know. So, but you know, it's like anything else, Charles, that you have to try to find the positive, you know, in all of this, because at the end of the day, it is a positive somewhere. And I think once you seek for that, and then I think you will be able to get through this and come out on the other side, you know, a better society, you know, and better individuals and families.
Okay. Last question for you. Can you share with our listeners how the public can reach out to you about their praises, concerns, thoughts, and questions? And what is the best way to get that information?
Okay, well, they can actually go to the Newport News Public School website, and we have a link on there where you can contact me directly through email, and also directly through the clerk. You can call. I mean, I have the device right here. I get emails from the same people all the time, and I get new emails from people. But they also can contact me on Facebook at Newport News Public School System, Marvin Harris. So there's ways to get in contact with me, but the quickest way would be through the email, because it comes directly to this device. So that's the quickest.
So you're not hard to get in touch with.
No, I am not hard to get in touch with. And you know, if someone says so, that's not correct. But no, I'm not hard to get in contact with. And I answer my phone. I answer the emails. Some of the private calls that comes through, you know, I might not answer to if they leave a message. But you know, but the email, and we have to get back with you. And if there's a question that you send me that I do not know, I'm not going to pretend. I don't do that. I immediately fire that off to the chairman and directly to the superintendent. And so I think a lot of people need to understand this. When you contact me, I'm not contacting a principal. I'm not going to contact a teacher. I'm not an administrator. If you contact me, that message goes directly to the superintendent. Okay, period. And I hopefully that parents are contacting their principal. Hoping parents are contacting their teachers and things of this nature. Not saying you can't contact us, because you can. But at the end of the day, we're going to go back and find out whether the loop was tied up. And it just makes things better for everyone. And so we want to make sure the principals are involved. So please contact your principals, your teachers. And if that doesn't work, or whatever the case may be, then you can continue to push it up the chain of command.
And it's all about communication and bridging those gaps of communication. One hand speaking
right.
to the other.
That's right.
That makes the world go round. It makes the world a beautiful place to be.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Well, thank you so much, Marvin Harris. Again, Marvin Harris from the Newport News School Board, prominent member there. Thank you, listeners, for listening in. I hope you got a lot of your questions answered. Even if you're not living in the Newport News area, Mr. Harris addressed a lot of questions that are on the minds of many parents and neighbors and just average citizens here in Virginia and around the states. Listen, if you are a listener, you are listening to Local Legislator Live at 11. I am your host, Charles Gates. We are a component of locallegislator.net. Please check us out. Our mission is to be the premier source of local election information and an advocate for the sustainability, especially in this age, of local businesses nationwide. Please connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, like our Facebook page. That's how you can watch this live, share it with your friends and family. And if you know someone that is an elected official, an aspiring official, a community or business leader, or a nonprofit head, or people doing big things in the community, please reach out to us. Let us know about it. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us how I'm doing. If I can do something different, if we can bring on different guests, let us know what's on your mind. And again, thank you very much for listening, everyone. And remember, at the end of the day, we are not global, we're local. Local Legislator Live at 11. I'm your host, Charles Gates. Again, Mr. Harris, thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of your day. Listeners, be safe and be well. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
And you know what? I also forgot. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Our guest is going to be, if you're worried about buying a house and selling a house, our guest is going to be Kelly Van Avery. And then on Friday, we will have none other than the Dew Man. Some of you know him as Mike Dewman, the councilman from Suffolk, Virginia. He'll be with us Friday. So now we're signing out. Take care, everybody.